My name is Betty Gardner. It is with my extreme pleasure to introduce you to Matt Hammer, the Chief Growth Officer for Human Resources Certification Preparation. He's going to be talking to us today about Facebook marketing, how to boost awareness and enrollments. And I know that that's something that's top of mind for all of us all the time, but especially now, because we're trying to figure out a way to reach our audience even when we can't be in the same room with them. So welcome, Matt, and we'll go to the next slide. I also want to give an extreme shout out to this year's sponsors. CETI was supposed to be in the lovely setting of Savannah, Georgia this week. It was going to be a 2-day conference, but due to concern and everybody's awareness of what's going on in our society today with COVID, we decided to spread it out over 5 days to have convenient times during the day for you to be able to take time out of what you're currently doing and sit down and have a little professional development. Not one of our sponsors backed out on us, not one. So please take the time virtually in your mind to thank the organizations that you see on the screen, because it is by what they have done and not backed out, which has allowed you to be able to attend this conference free, because we especially know that during these times, budgets are tight, travel is non-existent for the most part, but we're still being able to allow you to be able to learn new and innovative ways of being able to service your population. Next slide. And just like when we're in a classroom, we're in a hotel, at a conference, there's always rules. So our rules today is this session is being recorded. You will get a copy of the link to the PDFs of the presentation and the recording. Even if you signed up for it and you were unable to attend due to some last minute something that happened, you're still going to be getting it because you signed up for it. Attendees will be automatically muted when you join. Don't want to hear the cats and the dogs and the kids in the background. So that way it's more of a professional setting. But I do highly encourage you to look at the bottom of your screen, hover over, don't click, just hover. You'll see the Q&A box, the chat box. Use whichever one you're comfortable with, because I'm going to be, as your moderator, I'm going to be the one keeping track of your questions and your chats. And then at the end of the presentation, all of your questions will be answered. If we happen to run out of time, which we've not yet on any session, you'll be sent answers with a copy of the presentation and recording. We do encourage you to use social media, as that's going to tell you all about that today. We want you to use the hashtag CETI 2020. Get the word out and join our CETI alumni group on LinkedIn. Even our last session, I think we accepted, I think it was about 10 new members. In the chat box, I will be posting the URL for the LinkedIn for everybody that wants to join. And the purpose of the CETI alumni group is not to sell you anything, it's to share ideas. How are you dealing with this? What would you do if? Do chambers work for you? Does Facebook work better than LinkedIn? Should I tweet? Should I Twitter? What should I do? And I think we'll learn some of that today. Next slide. So with that, raise your hands up and let's give a really warm welcome to Matt Hammer. He currently serves as the Chief Growth Officer for Human Resources Certification Preparation. He leads all marketing and sales efforts for the leader in HR certification prep. Matt is a seasonal digital marketing leader with over 10 years of experience driving growth through digital media. And I know I'm especially excited to hear what Matt has to say, because I think his topic is so germane to what we're all thinking on our minds today and how we can service and support our clients, even though we may not be able to have them in our classrooms at the moment. So with that, Matt, I welcome you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Betty. I am so excited to be here with everybody and to be a part of this amazing virtual conference. I have to admit, it's as used as I am to the new Zoom meeting and kind of the new world that we live in. I am sad that I can't meet you in person and visit Savannah. That's going to happen at a different time, obviously, but I haven't been to Georgia before, and I was really looking forward to it. So I hope to make it out to Savannah, and I hope to eventually meet all of you in person. But how great is it that we can, through technology, come together and still be able to share information, and it's just an amazing thing. And I'm so excited to be here with everybody. I wanted to introduce myself a little bit more. So as Betty said, I am the Chief Growth Officer here at HRCP. We're based out of Utah. I live in Utah here with my family. My wife and I have a blended family of 5 kids. So it's summer coming early for us. Has been exciting. We'll say that. It's going to be a longer summer, but as many of you know, it is what it is. So my family and I, thankfully, we live in a beautiful state here in Utah, and we love to be outdoors. We love to be on the lake and doing things fun outdoors. And so really looking forward to a fun summer here in Utah. My background is in digital marketing. I've been in digital marketing now for well over 10 years, and I've been fortunate to work with small companies all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, and experienced a lot of different verticals and industries through my career. So that's been very fortunate that I've been able to do that. So that's just a little bit about me. HRCP, the Human Resource Certification Preparation. It's a mouthful, hence the HRCP. But we have been in business for over 25 years, and we specialize in helping HR professionals become HR certified. So within the HR industry, there are different credentials and certifications that you can get. We provide all of the study material that goes into these exams that HR professionals take. And they're pretty intense. As I'm sure there's some HR folks on this presentation. That these exams are very important to your career. And so we've been able to really carve out a great business and have been very successful with that. And we actually work with a lot of local universities and colleges and continuing education groups like yours to offer live instructor-led courses to local communities, HR communities there. And so there's probably some of you here that we've met and that we work with. And it's been a joy for us to be able to work with folks like you and hopefully be able to work with some of you in the future. So let's talk about what we are going to learn today. So Facebook marketing is essential to any organization, and it really helps growth, it helps awareness, and that's the main focus that I want to share with you today. Whether you already have a Facebook strategy, I believe that I'll have some good nuggets of information for you to help with that. If this is something that you want to get up off the ground and running, then I hope that my information here can kind of help push you to do that. But let's talk about why Facebook. Facebook, as you know, was one of the original social media platforms. It's been around for a long time now, but it is a giant amongst all of the social media platforms. 2 billion monthly active users. That's just mind-boggling to me across the world. And even with all of the new apps that are out there and that people are engaging with, people still heavily use Facebook, and they use it for a lot of information, and they're very engaged, and which is why posting on Facebook and running ads on Facebook is still so powerful. You can get very detailed and specific with your targeting parameters. It's very cost effective, and it really is one of the best ways to grow your business and organization. It still is to this day. So let's talk about some of the high level demographics and why Facebook is so powerful. 75% of males and female, 63% of males use Facebook. I mean, if you think about all of the people in America, for example, 75% of all females use Facebook. I mean, that's another just mind-boggling statistic there. And then when you look at the different age groups, I want to point out the 18 to 50-year-old age group, which is really college aged up to continuing education and people looking to further their education. That's really our demographic, right? So almost 80% of all of those folks are using Facebook. As you can see, the younger age, they're more interested in Snapchat, Instagram, things like that, but they're still using Facebook and Instagram quite a bit. And then if you look at it across locations, urban, suburban, rural, pretty similar there. One thing I wanted to point out here, though, is when you look at the education side of things, and this information, again, is so valuable because it can be used in your targeting, but people who have some college, so again, our demographic, continuing education, colleges, universities, people with some college is actually the highest percentage of folks that use Facebook. So a very high percentage of people that are in the demographic that we're going after. So within Facebook marketing, I want to break it up into two segments. There's the organic side of marketing, and then there's the paid side of marketing. And we're going to go into what each of those means and how we can utilize both of them. So what is organic Facebook? So organic really means whatever we can do to promote our organization or business without having to pay for it. So one of the great things about Facebook is anybody can start a page and start posting on it and start growing for free. And that's really the biggest benefit of organic Facebook. And so the more you post, the better quality of posts that you have, the more engaging content that you have, the faster and easier your reach is going to grow. So reach is really the amount of people that your page reaches and that engages with you. Okay, so every school or organization should have its own Facebook page that is managed consistently and constantly. That's just a must right now. I'm sure many of you do. If you don't, let's get on board. Let's get going with Facebook. And then over time, your Facebook page will grow, and that audience that you grow through your organization's page can be utilized for marketing purposes. So really, step one, this is basic, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knew really how easy this is. You need to set up your business page. Go to facebook.com/pages/create and create your page. Choose a business page, add pictures, your username. Really important that you add the categories. You can get pretty detailed with the categories that you want your page to represent. Make sure that people can contact you easily, message you, and really tell your story of who you are and what you represent, what your organization is all about, and then make sure there's a good call to action so that people can reach out to you or respond to you based on a really good call to action. And just be really easy to reach and responsive. It's so simple to set up your page and to get going that, again, everybody needs to have a Facebook page. Okay, so once that page is created, it's all about promoting a sense of community. Okay, so your page should be a community hub where people can come and find answers to questions. Okay, we don't want to be super salesy or super in your face, but you want to make it more engaging and a place where people feel like they're going to get answers. Okay, so there's some ways that we can do that. Within your page, you can hold weekly Q&A chats where people can log on and literally in real time, you can be answering people's questions and have Q&As. Your posts should have some sort of messaging that elicits a response. So ask questions in your posts that get people engaged. Simple questions that make them comment or share or get people engaged. Being very active and offering new topics of discussions and really just hone in that community aspect is vital to growing organically. And then the more interaction that your page gets, the more likely it's going to be shown to potential new followers. So again, you really want your page to be more of a community hub where people can find answers. Just think of it that way. So this is an example of a post that we have done in order to get people engaged. And this is that example of asking a question. So we will constantly be posting practice questions on our Facebook page. And it's a simple multiple choice question. And then people will leave comments with what they think is the right answer. So as you can see, and this is the kind of information that you can see within your own account, but it reached 6,200 people. It had 589 engagements, likes, comments, shares, and got people very, very engaged. If you go look at some of our more basic posts that don't ask a question or aren't as engaging, you won't see numbers like this. So any type of post that you can do that gets people engaged will just really help increase that organic reach for you. So I want to talk about something that's organic, but also a little bit on the paid side. So within your business page, you're going to be posting and posting frequently. And there's going to be times that you're going to want to promote something or you're going to want more people to see one of your daily posts that you do. So boosting your post is a really effective way to grow followers for a very little cost. It's not necessarily part of like the paid marketing side of it, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Boosting is very simple. It literally is a button you click and say boost post, and you can define who you want to boost it to and how much money you want to spend, and you can boost it, okay? And so it's a way for you to target people that are outside of your current following. For example, if you post on your page, the majority of people seeing that are only people who follow you. But if you want to go after people who are like your audience or certain demographics, for example, for us, it's HR people, we can go boost it to them so that they can see it in their newsfeed. And that's an easy, simple way to get new followers with very little cost. And you can really create custom audiences and who you want to boost your post to. And it's very simple, and a few clicks and you're done. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew about boosting posts and that it is a very, very worthwhile and inexpensive way to get the posts on your page in front of more people. Okay, so now we want to talk about sharing your page. If you have Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram accounts, you should be linking back to your Facebook page as much as you possibly can, okay? It's a very simple way to drive more people to your page. So always be linking people back to your Facebook page. And then your website is such a powerful way to gather new followers. People are hitting your website on a daily basis. You need to make it very visible and easy for people to link to your Facebook page to learn more about you as well as become a follower. And then if you have an email marketing program, if you're sending out emails, make sure that your emails at the bottom of your emails, or even just sending out an email saying, hey, come visit our Facebook page. A lot of you most likely have a good email database, and it's another way to very easily get people to know about your page and to follow it. So make sure we're sharing our page as much as we can. So here's an example. So we use MailChimp to automate all of our emails. At the bottom of all of the emails we send out, we have a Facebook link. If people were to click on that link, it would send them to our Facebook page and they could follow us and learn more about us. And then MailChimp gives me all of the data that I need about who is interacting with this little Facebook icon here. It'll let me know how many people have clicked on it. And what it tells me is that a lot of people are clicking on it. So again, email is a very powerful way to share your Facebook page with your audience. And then again, there's other ways to do it within email as well. This email could be as simple, hey, we have a Facebook page, come and follow us. Okay, so we want to make sure that whatever we're posting is quality. Quality images and videos used in your posts, okay? Again, we don't want to be scammy or salesy with it. We want to be high quality always. And we want to test a lot of different kinds of images and videos to see which ones get the most engagement. See which posts get the most likes and comments and engagement for you. And then be really concise in your messaging. It doesn't need to be too wordy, very concise. One thing that we have found very powerful for us is we mix in contests and sweepstakes, and people actually really love engaging with them. I'm sure you have all seen on Facebook as you're scrolling through it, hey, in order to win this, tag a friend and comment and you'll be entered into a drawing, something like that. They seem a little bit cheesy, but in all reality, let's be honest, we've all done it, okay? People love it, it gets people engaged, and we do it quite a bit in order to get that engagement, and we are surprised every time how many people engage with contests like that to get people engaged. And then really just making sure your content is relative to your audience. Make sure it's helpful, educational, and relevant to them. And so that you know who your demographic is, you know who you want to speak to, make sure that what they're seeing is always relevant to them. So it keeps them coming back and visiting your page. Here's an example of one of those contests that we've done. So this is where we gave away a set of preparation material. And as you can see in that picture on the right-hand side there, 5,200 people saw this, 523 engagements. And engagements really mean any type of engagement with your post, whether it's commenting, liking, clicking on a link, scrolling through it. That's all engagement, okay? It had a ton of comments, a lot of shares, and it got people really, really engaged with us. So those things, this isn't necessarily spammy or salesy because it is very relevant to our audience. There's very creative ways that you and your organization can do something like this that doesn't seem like it's spammy or salesy. And then here's an example of an image ad that we used that had a lot of really good metrics and people engaged with it. It's relevant and not only to our audience, but also to the current situation and the current job market. So it says, if you find yourself looking for a new job, having your HR certification can make a difference in landing a new position. Something simple and concise like that can get people really engaged with your posts. Okay, a big piece of reaching more people is partnering with other folks online who have big followings. So utilizing other people and companies to grow your audience is very, very powerful. Now, it takes more work. So the partnership side of things does take a lot of outreach, okay? Because there are influencers and potential partners out there that have these big followings who those followings are actually your ideal audience, but it does require some dedication to finding those blogs, finding those websites, finding those influencers who fit your demographic and who have the right size audiences to go after. But again, it can be very well worth it if you're able to find the right ones. Sometimes some partners will want to have some sort of a payment or some sort of a partnership agreement with you, but you'd be surprised how many of them just want to co-brand or do things for free because they get the benefit of growing their audience, growing your audience, and kind of growing together. So there's a lot of deals you can work out. Again, this method takes a little bit more work and effort, but it can pay off big time in the end. For example, if you're able to partner with a big blog that has 1 million monthly users, and you can get a blog post about you, or even just a banner ad on their blog that reaches that many people, you can see how powerful that can be in getting in front of the right people. And then really one of the most important things that we can do is post a lot. And that really means daily posts on your Facebook page. The more you post, the more Facebook's algorithm notices that and will potentially show your Facebook page to new followers. So that is one thing that will happen is as you grow and as you're very engaged in your Facebook page, Facebook will automatically show your page to potential new followers for you. So that's a very important part of this. Make sure that we're posting on a daily basis. And we're going to go into here in a few minutes how you can automate that and make it so it's not so time consuming and potentially overwhelming. Okay, so that's organic. We talked about the organic side of things and how we can grow our awareness without having to really pay for it. Okay, it's getting more and more difficult in the online marketing world to grow organically because paid ads have become so powerful because they're so successful at driving growth and value to businesses. The market is leaning more towards paid ads. It's not to say that the organic won't work for you. It needs to happen and it's important, but paid ads is where we can really start to see growth and engagement that we want. And the reason why that is because you can show your ads to your exact audience. There's very, very good analytics within Facebook that give you so much detail about who is interacting with your ads that it's pretty mind-blowing. I'm sure we've all had those experiences where you're on Facebook and you're being retargeted with a Facebook ad because you had put something in your shopping cart and you didn't end up buying it, but then you see it on Facebook and we end up buying it. It's because it works. I have definitely bought my fair share of shoes because Facebook hit me with an ad. And that's because it works. It gets people to re-engage with your business, and it's really, really powerful. It's also an excellent way to collect leads and potential enrollments, potential customers, potential students to, again, grow your database. And then there's so much more to it. So the very first thing that we need to do, and this is paramount. So if you could take anything away from this presentation, it's going to be, we need to add the Facebook code to your website and create an ads manager account. Okay, so this Facebook code allows you to combine Facebook data with your website data to really see how your ads are performing. It's essential to your business. The analytics behind paid marketing within Facebook is essential. If you are doing this without tracking it within Facebook and without adding the code, you need to do that now. So it allows you to target people who have visited your site with a Facebook ad. Again, we've all experienced that, right? But how amazing is that? That if somebody comes to your website, you can continue a conversation with them and continue engaging with them while they're browsing social media. So there's a link in this slide. Make sure you go to that if you haven't done it yet. Or if you're setting up Facebook for the first time, this needs to be one of the first things you need to do. It'll go through all the details. It's actually really easy. It's just a snippet of code that goes on your website, and you can start managing your ads with all of that amazing data. Okay, so let's talk about targeting. I mentioned that targeting is one of the most powerful things about Facebook, is the detailed targeting. So I want to start with what I like to call basic but not basic. This is just the basic targeting that's within Facebook, but it is amazing, okay? It's basic but not basic. So you can target people by their location, state, locality, zip code, country. You can even target them based on where they work versus where they live. Okay, so it's, again, this is the basic part of targeting, but it's very, very good. Okay, demographics. Demographics relating to population, age, sex, income, marital status, schooling. So many different options around demographics. And then a very, very powerful one, and one that we use a lot here at HRCP, is interests. So interests really help you define your target market. So an applicable example would be, let's say you are a music school. You could target users who like vintage record player pages, music pages, R&B artists, jazz pages, anything, any type of interest related to music, you can target those people. Literally thousands of potential interests that you can target. So as you can see, just within the basic targeting, you can find a pretty exact target market to go after. Then as we get more sophisticated, and this is where having that snippet of code on your website becomes so powerful, you can interact with people who have been to your website and even how they have interacted with your website. So if they simply visit your site, if they fill out some form on your site, if they stay on your site for a certain amount of time, if they visit a certain page on your site, you can give specific ads to those people based on what they do on your website. Again, endless amounts of targeting options around that. Lookalike audiences are a sophisticated targeting method that are very powerful within Facebook. So that simply means you can target users who are similar to people who are visiting your site, or people who have made some sort of an action on your site. This is very powerful for us because we know that HR folks are coming to our site on a daily basis. So how can we go reach more of them? Well, Facebook gives us that opportunity. They can automatically create a lookalike audience based on all of the data, the visitor data on your site, and with a snap of a finger, you can be targeting those people. And then probably, in my opinion, the best form of paid marketing on Facebook is the retargeting option. And again, why it's so important that you have this pixel on your page. You can re-engage, retarget with people who have visited your site. It is so powerful. And again, I'm sure that many of you have experienced it before, or maybe you have and you don't even know it, which I'm sure has happened as well. It's so powerful. For us personally, it's the most effective form of marketing that we're doing because it gets people to come back to our website and make decisions. Again, whether that's purchasing a product, whether it's downloading a white paper or some information, or if it's simply filling out a form, whatever it is that we want them to do, remarketing, retargeting gets them to back to your site to do that. And it keeps you in front, it keeps your brand in front of people, which is so important today because people get distracted. There's so many different forms of technology right now. There's laptops, tablets, cell phones, TVs, so many different ways that people get distracted. It's very important that we have retargeting in our arsenal of marketing. Okay, so here's an example of a retargeting ad that we do. And this is what people see in their newsfeed. As you can see, there's an image ad, and within that image ad, there's no messaging, which Facebook has limitations on the amount of font that you can actually have in the image. So what we do is we have a relevant image, people in a classroom, okay? And then above that, the offer. Okay, so people can read, they've been to our site, hey, come back, we're offering 50% off to help jumpstart. These are challenging times. This is how cost effective it is. Use this code at checkout, come back to our site. And again, this is very powerful for us. We see a lot of people coming back using this code and re-engaging with our business. And again, you can be very creative with this. We want to sell people our study material. But whether you're wanting to do that or get more enrollments or get people to download more information about your organization, whatever that is, this can be very powerful. It doesn't have to be an e-commerce business or somebody selling some sort of product. This can still be very powerful no matter what type of action you want the consumer to take. And then a very powerful thing for you specifically as continuing education programs, colleges, universities, you can promote classes, courses, events through Facebook marketing, okay? So an example that we've done, I mentioned in the past that we work with a lot of colleges and universities to offer live instructor-led courses, HR prep courses for people around these specific schools. Okay, so as you can see, starting from the left of your screen, this is the ad that we showed to people. Okay, this was for an upcoming prep course at the University of Delaware. Okay, then in the middle here, you can see the targeting. So we wanted to target a 15-mile radius around the exact address of that university. And then on the right, you can see we wanted to target people in that age, all genders within that age, and then people who match those interests. Okay, so people who are already in the HR field. We wanted to target them specifically. And we have found great success with filling up these courses with people simply because we were able to do this detailed targeting where we're showing ads to the right people at the right time and promoting something that they would be interested in. So that's a fantastic example of how you as an organization can promote, again, whatever it is that you're wanting to promote as an organization. This can be very powerful for you. Okay, so I'm sure that many of you are looking for ways to generate leads or generate more interest in what it is that you're doing so that you can start interacting with these people and sharing your message with them. So you can use Facebook ads to gather names and emails of people who then can be used in your email marketing. See, it's very powerful because you can start interacting with these people through other mediums, not just Facebook, through email as well. So some sort of a simple offer like downloading a white paper or a webinar or some sort of information packet where they have to leave their name and email, and that shows up in their email box. Super simple, super easy. There's even a function within Facebook that allows you to, within the ad, have them fill out their name and email. So we've done this in the past and continue to do this, where it's just a simple offer. Hey, download the steps to HR certification. Boom, name and email right within the Facebook ad. They don't even need to leave Facebook and hit your site. That is an amazing tool to gather leads. So Facebook lead ads, go look that up after this presentation, can be very powerful to cost effectively gather information from people so that you can start to interact with them. Or you can also just direct them to your site. So from the ad, they go to your site and there's a landing page that's, hey, here's our offer. Here's some sort of a download that is appealing to them. Fill this information out, name and email, boom, you have their lead information. And because, again, there's so many Facebook users and you can get so detailed with your targeting, you can grow your email database by thousands of people by doing this. And then once those people are in your database, you can consistently be sending emails and interacting with them to keep them engaged and keep them coming back to your organization and sharing the information that you want to share. Very, very, very powerful. I could probably do a separate a presentation on email marketing and how important that is to your business as well. That is, side note, that is something that we all should be doing as well. Okay, analytics, very powerful. The Ads Manager, which is the what Facebook calls their platform for managing your ads. Ads Manager allows you to see how your ads are performing, and it gives you so much information: impressions, clicks, views, conversions, signups, website clicks, click-through rates, demographics, and so much more. An example, an impression is somebody simply seeing your ad in their newsfeed. It'll show you exactly how many people had the ad shown to them as they were scrolling through Facebook. Then how many people clicked on it, how many people filled out a form, how many people completed an action that you've determined is something that's important to you. All very important and all very, very detailed. We have become such a technology-heavy society, and the analytics are unbelievable. And I myself appreciate a company that markets to me, giving me information that is valuable to me because they've put the time and effort into making sure that I am part of their audience. That is something that is important to me, and it makes my life easier because I can interact with the businesses that I want to interact with. And this analytics side of it can really help you understand that about your potential customers or consumers. Just endless amounts of valuable data that will help you understand how things are performing. Okay, so you may be feeling overwhelmed. Okay, how am I going to accomplish all of this? I don't have the manpower for this. Wow, do I need to hire somebody? Okay, this can all be automated and help you so much. So Facebook can, first and foremost, if you have a set budget, let's say you can only spend $500 a month on Facebook marketing, you can put that in as your exact budget, and Facebook will optimize performance to that exact budget, and you don't have to worry about spending more than that. Okay, that's a very simple way to relieve some stress. You don't have to worry, as long as you set your budget, you don't have to worry about overspending. There are free apps like Hootsuite that allow you to schedule your ads weeks or even months in advance. So this will automatically post for you. So one thing that we do here at HRCP is we do it on a weekly basis. Hootsuite connects all of our social media platforms. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. And we can do one post, plan out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, of what we want each post to be, and then set it up so it automatically posts on those days for us. So Monday, or maybe the previous Friday, we plan out the next week and hit go, and then it automatically posts for you. So if you have a strategy, if you have an idea of what you want your messaging and your ads, your post to look like, you can get that automatically set up so that you don't have to be every single day posting. It takes some work up front for you not having to worry about it in the future. And then if your goal is to get, let's say, signups for an event, or to really whatever action that you want or goal that you have, Facebook has an unbelievable algorithm that will show your ad to people most likely to sign up. And they use that based on previous people who have taken that action and their demographics, their interests, and then will automatically, through their algorithm, show your posts and ads to get the type of action or response that you're looking for. So again, we live in a day and age that's amazing, and we can get the right people the right information. Okay, so some final thoughts. There's a lot of information here. There's a reason why Social Media Manager is and will be just one of the hottest jobs now and in the future. Whether it's yourself that takes this on, whether it's a teammate, whether it's hiring somebody, make it a priority. Make it a priority to put effort into your Facebook marketing strategy. I promise you it'll pay off. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Smaller budgets can still reach a lot of people. Small budgets can reach thousands of people still, and it can be very effective. So if you have budget constraints, you don't need to be super stressed out. Again, like $500 in a month can get you in front of a lot of people and really help your organization grow. Again, if you have some sort of hiring freeze, I know a lot of us are dealing with hiring freezes now, or I mean, heaven forbid, losing some people. Teach yourself or a team member. There are so many tutorials and trainings online that you can quickly learn and understand Facebook marketing from, where you can get yourself caught up to speed and running a successful Facebook marketing strategy. So even if you have to teach yourself or a team member, again, I promise you it'll really pay off. Be consistent and stick with it. And I promise you it's going to be something that you find a lot of value in, and that will be something that, you know, people will really appreciate within your organization. So those are my final thoughts. Thank you all so much for being a part of this with me.
Thank you, Matt. I want to thank everybody that has taken the time to sign up for this presentation, whether life happened and you're going to look at it later, or if you actually are still on, because you do have quite a few attendees. I do have some questions, so I'm going to get to the ones that I have. And then for those that may still have a question that's not answered, I'll be checking the chat and the Q&A after I get through with the ones that I've already captured. So, okay, Matt, I'm going to get started with, do you see any trends in whether posts or events perform better in terms of organic research?
Okay, I'm trying to understand the question. Can you read it to me one more time?
I will. And it was just related to what you were just talking about. Do you see any trends in whether posts or events perform better in terms of organic reach?
Oh, poster events. I see what you're saying. So events and posts can be looked at a little bit differently. If you're promoting an event, this is one good usage of boosting a post. So an event would be a good example of maybe wanting to invest a little bit of money in boosting that, because not only do you want to get that event out to your followers, but you most likely want to get that event out to people outside of your following, maybe more so than just a typical post. Is there data that says a post or an event performs any better? I don't know that off the top of my head, but one thing I can say is that would be a great way to boosting an event can be very, very powerful and get a lot of engagement and awareness around that event. I hope that
Well,
answers.
and I can tell you, as I said, some people may have not joined right when we started, but we're so proud and privileged to be an example of social media marketing with this event that we've been posting this week, an event that we normally would have, 75 to 100 people in person at a hotel join. We've had over 3,700 registrations this week, people. I mean, you guys are phenomenal, and we've gotten nothing but positive feedback. And I know that we have been posting in the chat on every session, our CETI alumni group on LinkedIn. We're not going to invite you. You need to join it yourself, because that means you decided you wanted to be a part of a group of community leaders nationwide that wants to share, engage ideas, such as we're sharing all this week. And I see that we did actually have 3 new people join from this session. So it is in the chat that I've been typing to everyone. And I'll go to our next question, Matt. I'm going to paraphrase this. This is an employee who works for an organization that's setting up to start with. So should the organization be the catalyst to approving and building a website that's agreed upon by the organization, or should an individual case manager, supervisor spark this? So I'm just reading it as I got it. So I want to hear your take on that. I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear yours first.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I mean, obviously, if you don't have a website currently, I think that needs to be an entire group discussion, because there's so many elements to a good website. One of them, making sure that it's set up so that you can use it as a marketing tool, is very important. But there's other elements that require kind of the bigger organization to make decisions on. Absolutely, you can spark the interest in it, but as a whole, it needs to be an organizational decision. And then you can kind of spark the interest around what you need from a marketing perspective, how you want to use it when it comes to Facebook and driving value in business for you. I think that should be an important part of the discussion as well.
Coming off mute. I agree with you. And it also, in my opinion, depends upon the size of the organization, what their policies and procedures are. Do they have an entire marketing department to do that? Are you a small organization, small mom and pop? You just need to have a conversation and decide what the company rules are and follow them, because we certainly don't want to get anybody in our organization in trouble because we didn't follow the rules, and somebody may have voiced their opinion that might not be the opinion of the company. So communication is the key.
Right. Agreed.
Okay, so let's see here. I got another question for you. Is it beneficial to engage in conversation with those who share or comment on your post? Does it make the post more popular?
That's a great question, and the answer to that is yes. And there's a couple benefits to it. For one, first and foremost, is it shows other users and the user that's asking the question, for example, that you care, that you are responsive, and that you have great customer service. On your Facebook page, it'll actually say, this company will respond within 1 hour, and it has a very good customer service rating. That's an example. So yes, you absolutely want to engage with people who are commenting on your posts. The second piece to it is Facebook's algorithm picks up on that. So if you have really good engagement and you're commenting and people are responding, the more comments and engagement that a post gets, the more likely it'll be shown to people outside of your audience, because Facebook will have your Facebook page pop up in people's feeds that the algorithm deems somebody who might be interested in it. And they will do that based on the type of engagement you get. So yes, it's very important that you engage with people on your posts for those couple reasons.
And this is a question that I have, and I have a couple others, but my question goes with what you were just talking about. So I know that my organization has Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, all the social media. And then when my director of marketing posts things, you know, I like and share. My question as a business owner, should I always copy the hashtag this, that, and the other and put it in the response as I am liking and sharing? Does that also help me as an organization? Or if just liking and sharing, what's the best way to do?
I would say that, yes, ideally, if you were to include the hashtags in your sharing, sharing it will go a long way. So more than just liking it or even commenting it, the more people you can get to share it, the more potential eyes will see that post. And again, it just helps the algorithm to see that your page is something that people are talking about.
And I agree with you, and I have to remind myself at times to do the hashtags, because I'm always liking and sharing because I feel that's part of my duty as a business owner. We have some other questions, but another follow-up question to that is, if you're working at a business or a university, college, etc., and you have a Facebook page, how can you engage and get your employees to go like, hashtag, and share? Because sometimes the people that actually work in your department won't even go like your social media.
That's a good question. And really all you can do is just ask a lot. So the businesses that I've been at, that's been something that has constantly and consistently been asked of employees. Will you please share and like and comment on our social media postings? There's not really an incentive that you can give to them other than, hey, please help out the business that you work for or the college or university that you work for, and just encourage them constantly to share it. And eventually you'll get people on board and doing it. Some people are just not so keen on doing that, but and that's just how they're going to be. But if you ask a lot, people will start to do it for you.
Well, and I appreciate that answer, because that as a I mean, I used to work at a major university, had the same problem then, you know, whether you're a business owner or you're a department leader, coordinator, program manager, it's just hard to, you can't make people do stuff. You can try to encourage teamwork.
Yep.
To, you know, make what you're doing be more meaningful.
Exactly.
I got another question, statement/question. I see the value of the target marketing available through Facebook, but LinkedIn is ready-made for our market. Do you focus on Facebook because LinkedIn does not have advertising tools that are affordable and easily targeted? We've not looked into LinkedIn yet, so they want you to educate them.
Right. So LinkedIn is part of our arsenal, but I will say that LinkedIn only works for specific industries. And it is a lot more expensive than Facebook. So although LinkedIn has fantastic user information and people who are on LinkedIn are typically very engaged, there's only certain industries. HR is one of them. HR is an industry that works well on LinkedIn because so many HR professionals are on LinkedIn for recruiting purposes or for purposes related to the industry. But I will say that it doesn't work for every type of organization, and it is a lot more expensive. We at HRCP do use LinkedIn, but I want to emphasize that LinkedIn is a lot more expensive and only works with certain verticals. So keep that in mind. And you can do some research to kind of figure out what verticals work on LinkedIn, but just keep that. Facebook is less expensive and tends to work with more industries because people on Facebook are just browsing, whereas on LinkedIn, they're more focused on one specific thing.
Okay, I appreciate that. So far, I have 2 more questions, and I would encourage the attendees, our audience, who's been very gracious with your time. If you have any other questions, go ahead and get them queued up so I'll be ready. So let me go here. Please explain the difference in targeting and location of posts between a boost and an ad.
Good question. So boosting a post, you can still get pretty detailed with, actually, there's not much of a difference. You can create a custom audience to boost a post just like you would a paid ad. If you wanted to boost a post to a lookalike audience, you can do that. If you wanted to boost a post to some group of people with a certain interest, you can do that. Posts and, I'm sorry, did I bump something? Am I still sharing my screen?
I see your face. I do not see your screen.
Oh, okay.
Now you're good.
Okay, so posts and ads are just different. Ads can be tailored and typically it's just a different type of a function. But that's a very good question. You can, from a targeting perspective, get pretty darn close on a boost as you can a paid ad. Betty, I think you might be muted. Are you there?
I actually was on mute asking the question. Thank you. So the last question that I have so far is, you covered this a little bit, but what would you recommend, for a business unit at a university community college or a business in general? What's a good amount to spend on Facebook per month if I'm going to put this in my budget?
That's a very good question, and that's a very broad question because a lot of it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. One of the great things about Facebook is as you're boosting a post or setting up a specific ad, you can put in different budgets and Facebook will tell you how many people it will reach. So that's really where I would strategize. How many people do you want to reach and how much are you willing to spend to reach those people? There's not a one size fits all budget. I would say that at a minimum, $500 a month would be a minimum. But other than that, when you're setting up your posts or ads, play around with some different budgets to see what your reach is going to be like, and then make a decision from there.
Also, this is a question from me based on what you just said. What are the skill sets that I need to have from a person that's going to track all these analytics and report them back to me, the one that signs off on the budget? Because sometimes at the university and community college, you got one marketing person that's trying to serve the academic and the continuing ed side. So what bare minimum should I expect my marketing person to be giving me with results if I'm going to commit to a minimum of $500?
Well, so skill sets of the specific individual that is going to be managing this, is that what you're asking? What skill sets should they have?
Yes, because we're all in the business of education. Right. And many of us on this call probably have a marketing class, a marketing certification or certificate program. And so we're selling this stuff, but shouldn't we hold the people that are doing it, that, you know, are working for us, to the same accountability? So what are the bare minimum skills that we as continuing educators need to expect out of our employees to get the results?
Right. So Facebook is kind of a separate beast. The digital marketing skill sets can be very broad across different platforms, whether it's Facebook or Google or LinkedIn. There's certain things that you need to understand, like impressions and click-through rates and stuff like that. But I would recommend finding somebody who has specific Facebook knowledge, just because it's kind of like its own beast. And like I mentioned before, there are really, if you had to do this in-house, let's say you didn't have anybody, or you couldn't hire somebody, you had to do it in-house, there's great cost-effective trainings that you can do to get people caught up to speed, to where spending, let's say $500 a month, you feel a lot better about doing that because of the training this person has had. But ideally, you want somebody who does have some Facebook marketing experience, because they're going to understand the platform, they're going to understand what the analytics means, and they're going to be able to speak to it and show what the ads are doing for the organization. So ideally, somebody who has some Facebook marketing specific experience. If not, let's get them trained up so that they understand it.
I agree with you, because I mean, just over the years, I'm just amazed at how much our technology has evolved, how we can track people. We can see their IP address. We can tell where they're coming from. And for you schools that may or may not do this, I can tell you a great thing is using such tools as Pure Chat, Response IQ on your websites, having them, you know, search engine optimized, being able to know who your market is, where are they coming from, being able to respond to them immediately, because people do not like to wait in line, whether it's reality in line at the grocery store or virtual. We don't like to wait anymore. So we need to make our websites, our social media, be almost instantaneous. I mean, we really do, because if you're not taking care of the customer right now, somebody else is.
Right, and that's why having somebody who has experience understanding marketing metrics, especially ones within Facebook, is very important. And also why I said in my presentation that I could do a whole presentation about email marketing, because that is a very powerful form, like you said, Betty, of staying in front of people, staying engaged with people, and having a strategy around that is just really important for every organization.
We'll probably invite you back to another webinar that we'll have later this year to do such things. I do have one last question, but I will encourage the attendees. I'm still monitoring it, so if you got a question, pop it in there quick. But we do have a question that says, is there a minimum recommended cost per month for paid versus how much does each boost cost?
Good question. So typically on a boost, it's going to be a flat cost. Like, I want to spend $20 to boost this post, and this is how many people it's going to reach. On the paid side, it's more of a cost per click type model, and those can vary by vertical, by industry. So paid is going to be more cost per click. Boosts more of like you're going to spend less on a boost than you will on paid. So boosts are like, you know, 10, 20 bucks. I'm going to boost this post. On the paid side, you're going to have more of a set budget with a cost per click, with a good idea of how many clicks you're going to get, how many impressions you're going to get. And it's based on that kind of a model. And again, within Facebook Ads Manager, you can see that forecasted for you. So you can really know what kind of a reach you're going to have with your paid ads and how much each click is going to cost before you ever set it live.
Well, and I understand what you said, and I'm sure everybody that's still in attendance, they're holding strong here, Matt. I know for a fact that we can't live without our IT department. They keep us going.
Right.
And the marketing department, we say marketing, it used to be just print ads and everything. Marketing now can be divided up into, as everybody knows, print ads. It could be, the social media, the designer. It's just like what everybody used to think, well, you're in IT, you know everything. No, you don't.
Right.
You have your specialties. It's the same thing in marketing. You need to find good marketing people that know how to support you and your department, because without IT and social media, I don't care where you work. If you don't have good people doing that, you're not going to be working for long.
I agree. 100%.
So, let's see here. Got another question.
Great.
Have you seen any new trends since social distancing has become the norm? Changes in access times or responses to type of ads?
That's a really good question. Digital marketing as a whole has seen an uptick. And that's because more people are working from home. More people have more time to browse than before. Because in the past people are commuting to work, or they're in an office and they're in meetings all day, or things like that. Marketing, specifically Facebook marketing, has seen a lot of growth and more engagement since COVID started, for sure. So now is a very, very, very good time to be engaging with people, because you have more people's attention than ever, simply because of the circumstances. And we've seen that at HRCP. We've seen better engagement rates, more people come to our website, more people engaging with our Facebook ads. Again, simply because people have more time than before.
I agree with you, Matt. And I just wanted to add, we're all busy, all of us, and we all have the same number of hours in the day. But I bet there's not one person on this attendee roll that could say, well, my emails have went down. Your emails have probably went up. They've skyrocketed. And you have to pay attention to that. And we're trying to figure out how to sell to our clientele virtually, whether it be an online self-paced class, whether it be, the exam companies are now figuring out how to sell the exams virtual with proctoring. I mean, it's a whole new world.
Yep.
And instead of having our live in classroom where I can shake my instructor's hand class, now we have to figure out how do we do our live instructor-led, live online, synchronous coming to you. It's just a different way to do the same thing. And
Yep.
many of us that has been, going into the office every day, you get used to a certain way. We get into our habits. But it's been over 2 months now, 2 to 3 months. We have a new habit now. So it's time to quit blaming COVID, and it's time to start serving students.
Yep, and there's a lot of time suckers that in the previous world aren't there now. I know that in my career, I've been at businesses where meetings alone in a day, just being there physically and being pulled this way and that way, really took up a lot of time and took me away from a screen, for example. Now, we may be having a lot of Zoom meetings and be answering a lot of emails, but people are in front of their screens more, which means that now there's no better time than now to get in front of people with marketing.
Right, and when you and we made a conscious effort on this week-long conference to only have the speaker show their face, where we wouldn't see the Brady Bunch, if you will. For those of you who are old enough to know who the Brady Bunch is. Because we didn't want to have a lot of distractors. But I know you all do the same thing we do. You're Skyping, you're Teaming, you're webinaring, you're Zooming, you're emailing, but you're getting things done. And you don't have that commute into the office. Some of you don't still. Some of you probably have went back. And I mean, it's just a different way, and you need to find the efficiency. And I just want to thank everyone who took the time out. I don't, let's see here. I don't see any other questions, but I am so grateful to you, Matt, for sharing your time, and for all of the attendees. You guys rock. Don't forget to join the CETI alumni group. We're not selling you anything. We're just sharing things with you. So have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.